Hey y'all, another day, another dollar. Welcome to the Bookish Hottie YouTube channel. I'm Nakara, making reading hot because reading is hot, and we're going to talk about all the things. So, my fiance loves Decisions Pod, and so Kennedy Ryan was on the pod talking about her book, her newest release of Score, and for a while now, he's been saying he wants to get into romance. And I was like, okay, great. You should. He's like, yeah, but now I saw Kennedy Ryan. Now I want to read a Kennedy Ryan book. Okay. So I gave him, which is no shade to Kennedy. I love Kennedy. But I'm just like, I gave you 3 other books. Read them too, bro. So he was like, which one should I read? I know Kennedy said for her Atlanta stop with Jaquel that she always suggests Real. But for me, if I was giving a book to a guy, because Real is amazing, but what I always suggest first is Before I Let Go. I think it's like super real, super hard hitting, and it deals with things that sometimes what a man believes is helpful might not be helpful for them. And I'm just thinking about what Jasmine needed in that moment. Might have not was not helpful for her from her husband. So I always suggest, like, Before I Let Go, if a guy's going to ask me which Kennedy Ryan book he should read first. For me, I think it's Before I Let Go. But it made me think about, like, books that I think are important or what I would give someone for a starter pack, right? Like my romance starter kit. If a man came up to me and said, hey, Nakara, I want to get into romance. What are, like, 8 books you would suggest if I needed to take my pick? And so that's what we talk about today. We talk about 8 books that I keep in my romance starter pack for men, and that I always suggest, or actually for people who are looking to get in a romance, period. This is what I keep in there, especially if they're not ready to go all the way into, like, sometimes where romance can go, which is really, really spicy, you know? So that's what we're talking about today. So first, I'm going to talk about one of my all-time favorite books in series, the Green series, The Neighbor Favor by Kristina Forrest. I really enjoy this book. This one is about shy, awkward, youngest sister, Lily Green, who is a children's book editor. Well, an editor, but she wants to be a children's book editor. And she feels very, very stuck in her life. And she starts secret pen paling with one of her favorite fantasy writers, who ends up being Nick Brown. Little does she know, she moves in with her sister, and he is on the same floor as her sister. And she meets him in the elevator, has no idea because he writes underneath a pen name that is him. But he knows who she is. So this is like secret identity, all the things. I really enjoyed this book. It was so adorable. So chef's kiss. Shout out to Kristina Forrest. But my favorite Green sister is Violet, which is the second book, which is Partner Plot. Personally, me, I'm a Violet girl. I'm a Violet stan. So I love me some Violet. The other book that I always suggest is 20 Seconds From Now by Jason Reynolds. And it is one of the cutest stories. It's literally a countdown to a young boy's first time ever having sex. And I think this story isn't told often enough from the male point of view. And I just think it's like, it was so adorable. And Jason really put his pen on this. I enjoyed this book a lot. The other book that I always suggest, which I talked about before, is Before I Let Go by Kennedy Ryan. I just think that Jasmine and Josiah's story is so important and needs to be told. Because what do you do when you are co-parenting, you're running a business, and then trigger warning alert, it does deal with miscarriage. And that's why I love Kennedy. She just gets down to the granular and the nitty gritty and the real life things, and how do you repair yourself in romance. And they did actually, this is the second chance. and they did actually get divorced. So this is one of the Kennedy Ryan books that I always suggest if a guy is like, hey, I want to start getting into romance and I do want to read Kennedy. This is where I always start them off at. And it's being made into a show by Peacock and Malcolm D. Lee, who did The Best Man. So always suggest that. Then if you have a guy who's like, or person who likes a lot of rom-coms, they like to laugh a lot, I suggest The Starter X by Mia Sosa. This book had me laughing hysterically. It was such a good book. Like all the right spice notes. It is spicier, but it does. I think that it's so funny too that a lot of guys who like comedy, that they would like this book a lot. It's hilarious. The other book that I suggest too is by the person who actually got me into romance again. I would say back into romance again as an adult is Jasmine Guillory, The Proposal. This is just so funny to me. It's about a proposal that goes wrong with Nicole and her actor boyfriend. He tries to propose to her at a Dodgers game. She was thinking about breaking up with this man, and then he proposes to her. And then she ends up running into Carlos, who saves her from that epic disaster of a proposal. And then chaos just ensues. And I just really love this book. It's funny. It's hilarious. It's sweet. And we need more sweet books. So this is another one I suggest. And then this is a twofer. So I suggest Honey and Spice as well as Sweet Heat by Bolu Babalola. I will say that Sweet Heat is definitely spicier. This is a college situation, enemies to lovers. And then Sweet Heat is a second chance romance. And I think that's important to highlight second chance romance because most men are be messing up. So they always run in the block. And I know people are against running the block, but I also love a second chance romance. I will even say like Sweet Heat, I feel like is me and my fiance's love story a lot of the different ways. So yeah, I love a second chance. And then the last book I would suggest is 7 Days in June. I lent it out, so I don't have it to show, but 7 Days in June is something that it's not your traditional love story. It doesn't have like we walk into the sunset, we have a bunch of babies kind of happy ending, but it is a happy ending. But it does deal with mother-daughter issues. It deals with a young man trying to rebuild his life after he was in and out of the criminal justice system. I just think it's one of those books that like what happens in a summer in New York in the middle of 7 days, and can they find their love again? So yes, that is a second chance. As you see, there is a theme clocking here. But I just really I just love Tia Williams. To me, she's like one of my auto-buy authors. I just think she has an amazing pen and catalog. And I just really just enjoy her. So I would just say those are my 8 starter pack books. What are yours? Let me know in the comments. I want to know, what do you suggest to guys when they're like, I want to get into romance? Because I think that they need to get more into that. I know we talk about it all the time about men getting into romance, but they really do, because one, they're giving you free game. Number 2, they are giving you good date ideas. Number 3, they also teaching you a little something, if you know what I'm saying. So get you somebody who reads romance, because you're gonna have a wang dang doodle of a time. I'm trying to tell y'all gonna be outside with it. Y'all gonna be living your best life. So yes, those are all the books I love, and those are the ones I recommend. So again, I will catch y'all tomorrow, because remember, this is a 30-day challenge, and y'all keep me in prayer. Because I am flying out tomorrow. I'm going to Birmingham for the first time. I've never actually been to the state of Alabama. I've been to Mississippi. I've been to Tennessee. But I've never been to Alabama. So I'm excited. Probably going to go ahead. I need to text my girl Lana. And say I'm over at She Well Read Pod. Let them know I'm coming into town because I surely forgot, so we could get some dinner. And let me know where the spots are, where the haunts are of Birmingham. And then I'm flying back right automatically on Friday, so I can go with Wine with the Writers. I don't know if anybody else is going to Wine with the Writers in Baltimore, but I'm excited. I do have some OG copies that I collected, at least 3 of Beverly Jenkins. So I plan to get those signed because you gotta honor your living legends as they're here, because we gotta honor them. So on my journey of collecting vintage book covers, that is a part of it. So until next time, y'all. Bye.